Kyrie. Today we'll be presenting on Case Study 1 Career Path. My name is Chihan. Here are my group members who have helped during the making of this case study. They are Waiho and Weijie. Now, before I begin this presentation, I'd like to introduce to you what are the objectives of this case study. Firstly, this case study is done with the intention to identify the next step after foundation completion. So, for example, what major we will pick in degree year, whether or not we will take any additional certificates or postgraduate studies, and even our backup plans in case our goal of being software engineer fail. So, in short, this presentation is about preparing a blueprint for our future so that we can persevere with conviction until we graduate from MMU. Now, in this slide, I'll explain our choice to choose software engineering as our major in MMU. First of which is it is highly flexible. You can find a lot of jobs in this sector. To illustrate my point, I'll give one example. Let's say in Malaysia, if the need for IT sectors suddenly dwindle, you're still guaranteed a job. But how is that possible? This is because of the presence of online freelancing platforms such as Upwork, Elance, People Per Hour, and etc. The second point I want to talk about is it is a very exciting field that has a lot to offer and is always pushing out new useful products that make people's lives more convenient. So for example, 20 years ago with Microsoft dominating the IT markets with its products such as Microsoft Windows and Microsoft Office, and who would have expected that 10 years ago a young lad by the name of Mark Zuckerberg would be arguably the most influential person today as Facebook continues to dictate the way we perceive our world. Now, I'd like to move on to my final point, which is software engineering is an extremely stable field, especially for the past decades, and is going to continue that trend very far down the future. In fact, it is also one of the jobs with the highest growth rate as estimated by most statistics. Now, in this slide, I'll talk about what we have collectively agreed to learn during our study at MMU. So the first is we like to learn Java, which is now predominantly known as the native language for Android. As we are avid fans of Android, we like to dabble in the field of mobile development someday soon as we gain more experience. Now, the second thing that we want to learn that we think is fundamental to becoming a software engineer is data structures and algorithm. Data structure, simply put, is specific way of organizing data and storing data, while algorithm simply means the set of instructions given to the computer to manipulate the data in such a way that a desired output is produced. Together, they form a program. Now, we also like to learn about writing clean and maintainable code. This is because we realize that in a corporate workplace, it is essential for the code base of an application to be easily understood by other developers. This can be done by putting in commands where needed, indenting where needed as well to make the code easier to read and etc. So now let's move on to the final point, which is we would like to learn how to learn independently, which we perceive to be the most important skills that we can learn during our years in university. For example, we need to learn how to do self-learning outside of the course structure and not be afraid of going into an unknown subject because you can always find helpful courses and videos on sites such as YouTube, Coursera, Udemy, and etc. to guide you from a beginner to becoming a master.
For cost structure, we are going to take calculus. So with this, you get the ability to find the effect of changing conditions on a system being investigated. And programming fundamentals, this course provided the course knowledge to begin programming in any language. And discrete structure probabilities. Discrete mathematics is the study of mathematical structure. Professional development. Professional development which lists information on subjects such as internships and work experience. Comput- computational models. Computational models are mathematical models used to numerically study the behaviors of complex systems. Object-oriented programming refers to a type of computers programming in which programmers define not only the data type of a data structure, but also the type of operations that can be applied to the data, data structure. Data structure is a specialized format for organizing and storing data, and more. The possible elective to be taken in futures and why theory of computations to better understand the intricacies that goes into the algorithms in programs and be able to replicate them readily. Software evolution and maintenance to be able to make changes over the foundation in an existing software and improve its functionalities and usabilities without having to start a new one. Artificial intelligence to be able to understand the reach of AI in the IT sectors and introduce them seamlessly in any past project in the future. Chosen careers and its path throughout the corporate ladders start with trans software engineers and goes to junior software engineers and engineers, senior software engineers, lead software engineers, and finally goes to development manager.
Certificates. Microsoft Certificate Solution Associate. MCSA is a certification program from Microsoft. Microsoft offers MCSA certification exam and training, certification on server, desktop, application, database, and developer platforms. MCSA is a certification program intended for people who seek entry-level jobs in an information technology field. It is applied to a series of certifications for Microsoft's core platform technologies includes Windows Server, Windows Desktop, SQL Server, and Office 365. Cisco Certified Network Associate. CCNA certification confirms that a technician has the ability to install, set up, configure, troubleshoot, and operate on a medium-sized switch and router network. It provides an integrated and comprehensive coverage of networking topics, from fundamentals to advanced applications and services, while providing opportunities for hands-on practical experience and career skills development. AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. Amazon Web Service certification is fast becoming a must-have certifications for any IT professional working with AWS. AWS provides scalable cloud computing for creating web applications. AWS Certificate Developer Associate is for developers who design, build, and run applications on the AWS platform. Part 2. Postgraduate Studies. Masters in Machine Learning. Masters in Machine Learning is a scientific discipline focused on the development of algorithms that spot patterns or make predictions from empirical data. Today's demand for expertise in machine learning far exceeds the supply, and this imbalance will become more severe over the coming decade. The programming equips you for an international career and will also prepare you for the further studies at PhD level. Machine learning is a rapidly expanding field with many applications in diverse areas such as bioinformatics, fraud detection, intelligent systems, perception, finance, information retrieval, and other areas. Backup plan. First, backup plan. While studying in Multimedia University, establish a presence through online freelancing platforms such as Upwork.com, and will start freelancing our skill set to earn some side income. Build a good reputation on a platform by treating every freelance work seriously and go the extra mile whenever possible. As time goes on, our network of clients will expand by word of mouth as well as good reviews. By the time we graduate, we'll be able to be self-employed from the customer base and reputation we have built on the platform. Second backup plan. Find a job that is closely related to the information technology field and do well at it. After a few months of working there, request to the HR department to transfer us to the job that we really want. If it is not possible, look for the job in another company. While looking for the job, we may consider becoming Uber driver for the first few months to sustain ourselves and see if the situation get any better. Third backup plan. If CGPA obtained after graduating from multimedia university is good and we have the necessary financial means to support it, we'll consider doing masters in machine learning or masters in computer science in a reputable university. Having this backup plan in mind, we are aware that we'll have a strong portfolio to show before graduating from multimedia university in order to qualify for such programs. Conclusion: we should have a clear idea of what we want to learn when we enter degree level to make sure that we are on the right track. We need to know the career progression that will follow after we graduate from university in order to have a realistic expectation in the corporate ladder. The information technology field is always changing, so we need to update our skill set constantly by being open to learn and pursue new knowledge. We can consider going after certain IT certification to increase our value, such as the employee to the employers. It's possible to cover any career in information technology field as long as its trend catches on in Malaysia. But we need to pick a major wisely and plan our own career path ahead to make sure that we don't stray down the wrong path and waste our youth and monetary means unnecessarily. If we don't get our dream job after graduating from university, we shouldn't feel dismayed. Instead, we should follow our backup plan to prevent being lost.